In the news tonight, a call on International Women's Day to guard against efforts to reverse the gains made. Regional leaders urged to defy America's newly imposed restrictions targeting Cuban medical professionals.
Broadcasting from our studios in the Pine St. Michael, this is CBC NewsNight, starting now.
Very good evening to you. I'm Lisa Broom. Thank you so much for tuning in. In our top story tonight, as Barbados honors the achievements of women this International Women's Day, the country is being encouraged to reflect on the changes and progress made since the achievement of the Beijing Declaration and Platform for Action. That visionary 1995 plan, agreed by 189 governments, spoke of achieving equal rights of all women and girls. According to head and lecturer at the Institute for Gender and Development Studies in the Nita Barrow Unit of the University of the West Indies at Cave Hill, Dr. Tanya Haynes, Barbados is a place of rapid social change, and there's a lot for women and girls to celebrate. She, however, called attention to action that could roll back gains regarding gender justice and peace globally.
We cannot ignore the movements that are happening globally, including the rise of conservative movements across the globe, the attempts to roll back rights that women thought that they had secured, including things like sexual and reproductive health and rights, the anti-gender movement, the rise of misinformation and disinformation. And a lot of these were many of the key things that we spoke about when we sat on the veranda for International Women's Day and really had a grounding with all the persons gathered there. And of course, we hosted a women's night market. This is the second time we've had the night market as part of our International Women's Day celebrations in collaboration with CBC Caribbean. And the market is extremely important because women's economic empowerment remains something that we have to continue to secure and renew.
International Women's Day is being observed under the theme For All Women and Girls, Rights, Equality, Empowerment. It calls for action that can unlock equal rights, power and opportunities for all, and a feminist future where no one is left behind. Dr. Haynes says the theme is one that resonates with the Nita Barrow unit and is reflected in all the work it does,
including our current work called the Blooming Project, which is now in its 6th year and undertaken at the Boys and Girls Government Industrial Schools, a mentorship program and also a program that extends livelihood in climate smart and green technologies to residents of the Girls and Boys Industrial Schools. And this is part of what we do to accelerate action towards gender equality and gender justice. We also have a full research program with our lecturers doing research on everything from mothering, unpaid care work, and how women in particular experience unpaid care work. My own research looks at Black Barbadian women's experiences of type 2 diabetes, and I'm just about to start some research particularly at gender and aging.
And the National Organization of Women is also saluting women on this International Women's Day. President Melissa Savory Gittins says those trailblazers who paved the way for the modern-day woman must also be recognized.
Their courage and resilience remind us that progress was never freely given. It was demanded and earned by fearless women, those that came before us. Today, therefore, isn't just about a celebration. Yes, we want to celebrate, but it's a call to accelerate action. Businesses and individuals alike must commit to rights, equality, and empowerment. We must uplift and mentor all of our women and build a future where all women and girls can thrive, will thrive. Happy International Women's Day.
President of the Barbados-Cuban Friendship Association, David Denny, is calling on regional leaders to speak out against the United States' newly imposed restrictions targeting Cuban medical professionals. Mr. Denny says the association is supporting government's position that this is a serious move which has the potential to negatively impact critical healthcare services across the Caribbean. He says for many years, thousands from across the region have traveled to Cuba for free medical attention, especially in the area of eye treatment. Addressing a press conference, Mr. Denny said Barbados should also remember Cuba sending a medical brigade to the island to assist with the COVID-19 pandemic fight.
Our region have benefited from the government of Cuba medical program in our region, to the extent that they have saved the lives of many of our poor Caribbean people in terms of being able to get medical treatment that most of them cannot pay for or can even think about traveling to Miami or the Western world to get medical treatment.
Mr. Denny said amid international developments, countries in the region should continue to work with Cuba to establish medical scholarships for their nationals,
so that they can return to our region and help our people. So that this is also a very, very good program. And the Barbados Cuba Friendship Association supports Barbados and our Caribbean nations in relation to that joint educational program between our region and Cuba that will benefit poor working class people who would like to become medical doctors.
The Barbados Tourism Marketing Incorporated used its presence at the Tourism Trade Fair ITB Berlin in Germany to update the European market on what's new and coming in Destination Barbados. Director for Europe, Tracy Jones, says the European market is important for Barbados, and she adds Barbados continues to build on its relationships, working with airline partners as the hotel room stock increases.
We have, for the first time since 2019, Barbados Connect, a trade show where we're inviting our trade partners from around the world to Barbados. So it is a focused show on the destination where we're inviting partners from around the world to come here, what we have to offer. Not only here, they're actually going to be on island, so they get to see what's new, what's happening. There are always new restaurants opening. There are the activities and attractions, and certainly we're hoping that we will be able to show them some of the newly renovated product as well.
A pilot of a cashless payment system should be rolling out on privately owned public service vehicles in a few months. This from President of the Association of Public Transport Owners, APTO, Anwar Nana. He says they have been having several meetings with members and other sister organizations, the Alliance Owners of Public Transport, AOPT, to move that process forward.
We are in negotiation with some providers to start a pilot project, a trial basically on all of the routes across Barbados on the cashless. We're not too far in this very near future. We will be implementing this project, and then with the thought and the idea that the government will then legislate cashless across the board for all PSVs.
The cashless system will help not only in bringing technological upgrades to the transport sector, but also with security concerns.
This is also to take the cash off the vehicles to make it safer for our workers, and so that they could also think about working a little later at night, and also to make streamline the industry basically to national standards. We are ready and raring to go, just waiting on the final contracts and providers information and what's not. Logistics of it basically is what we're working out.
Coming up on Newsnight, the old Ursuline convent among several properties being acquired by government. The old Ursuline convent, along with 5 acres of land at the nearby Chelston Park in St. Michael, are to be acquired for educational purposes. Minister of Housing, Lands and Maintenance, Dwight Sutherland, says it is being undertaken through a private treaty. Over $25,371,000 was appropriated through a supplementary, portions of which will be used to assist with the acquisition, as well as that of 5 acres of land at Chelston, property of the Life of Barbados, now Sagicor Group. The Geddes Grant building at White Park Road will also be acquired.
For a critical purpose for the Barbados Police Service. And indeed, Mr. Chairman, you know that we, in an effort to address some of the challenges we face, we have to find proper accommodation, fit for purpose accommodation for the police service. And indeed, the Geddes Grant building at White Park Road was seen as one of those facilities that we can utilize, and it is being utilized now by the police service. In addition, Mr. Speaker, we saw it fit to help maintain the Graham Hall Nature Sanctuary.
After hiatus due to the onset of the COVID-19 pandemic, Barbadians were in for a treat as CIBC Caribbean hosted a red carpet showcase highlighting what the bank says is the very best in the automotive industry. The event at the Lloyd Erskine Sandiford Centre showcased several vehicle brands in partnership with leading automobile dealerships. Financing packages were also extended. Director of Retail Channels, Personal and Business Banking, Michelle Whitelaw, says they focused on electric and hybrid vehicles.
Our world is becoming increasingly aware of the need to protect our environment, and many people are looking to decrease their carbon footprint as much as possible. And even though traditional gas-powered vehicles will always be a preference for some people, more and more are looking towards alternatives such as electric and hybrid vehicles. So we're presenting you with both this evening, and we hope you will have the opportunity to spend a part of your evening exploring the various options and considering the pros and cons of each choice.
Chief Country Management Officer Donna Wellington says as the bank builds its relationship with clients, it continues to play its part in bringing ambitions to reality.
For many of you, that includes owning a car, whether it's your first car, a car that befits where you are in life, or a car that reflects your concerns about the world around you. Again, that is where we come in. Through events like this, we help you make those connections to bring those options to you in one place, rather than you having to shop around and go to all the dealers for the perfect vehicle. And we know, too, that many of you have either made the switch to either a hybrid or fully electric vehicle. So once again, reading the room, so to speak, this is our emphasis this year.
Time for another break. When we come back, sports and weather. We apologize for the absence of our usual sports presenters, but I have a full package for you. Starting with this story, India Masters pulled off a dramatic 7-run victory in Raipur today after surviving a heavy onslaught by the West Indian batters. After India Masters had scored 253 in the first innings, the Windies looked to be bossing the chase, scoring 156 for 1 in the first 10 overs. However, Stuart Binney with 3 for 13 helped to limit the Windies, who finished on 246 for 6. Dwayne Smith led with 79 and William Perkins 52 in a losing effort as India qualified for the semi-finals. West Indies Masters must win their next match against South Africa Masters on Tuesday in order to advance. Defending champions Guyana Harpy Eagles lead the regional 4-day standings on 81.2 points after they defeated the Jamaica Scorpions in round 4 by 214 runs at Sabina Park today. Meanwhile, Trinidad and Tobago Red Force are second on 77.8 points after they hammered the West Indies Academy by 125 runs at the Coolidge Cricket Ground. In third is Barbados Pride on 73 points with their 10-wicket win over combined campuses and colleges. Round 5 gets underway on March 12th. Barbados is playing host to the 2025 Junior Pan American Challenge at the Wilde Hockey Centre. The inaugural competition got underway today and will run until the 16th of March. Speaking at the launch yesterday, President of the Barbados Hockey Federation, Kofi Hines, says 6 under-21 men's and women's teams will be doing battle.
In the men's, we have Brazil, Trinidad and Tobago, Guatemala, Venezuela, Guyana, and of course, Barbados. This tournament, I think, is an important one on the calendar, as it is the second qualifier for the region for the upcoming Junior Pan American Games being held in Paraguay, I believe, in July. August. Yes, in August.
Barbados women lost their first match today against Puerto Rico 6-0, while the men's first match will be against Trinidad and Tobago tomorrow. Under 21 women's manager Susan Barnett is urging Barbadians to support the teams.
We feel very strongly about our teams this year. We have a few new girls and a few new boys, but we still feel that we have a strong chance. It's going to be exciting to watch, and you know, we welcome the challenge. It's going to be exciting to watch, and we just need at this point to encourage parents, the whole Barbados community, just come out, support the young ones, help them to move forward to the next step.
Deacons moved out the relegation zone with a convincing 4-2 victory over Abrams United Silver Sands when the BFA Premier League continued at the Dover playing field recently. CBC's Anmar Goodrich-Boyce reports.
Grab a seat and take in some midweek BFA Premier League action. We're at Dover. First match featuring Deacons in red and Abrams United Silver Sands. 6 minutes and change on the clock. Free kick floated into the box. No one is tracking Keon Atkins. Easy access to the goal. And there you have it. 1-0 to the boys from the farm. We'll make that 2-0, but it really should not have been this way. Credit to Sandro Springer for the innovation. Bicycle kick, but the keeper has to do better. Deacons were flying. Despite conceding 2 early goals, Silver Sands were not out of the contest. The ball drops gently for Sudoku Scott. That's a neat finish at the near post. 2-1 the score at the break. The halftime message was still ringing in the ears of the Silver Sands players. Second half now. 5 minutes gone. Richmore Atherley sees the keeper off the line and decides to try his luck and found the equalizer, all squared at 2 apiece. But Deacons would restore their lead. Shemaine Richards in hot pursuit. The initial shot is denied, but he gets a second bite of the cherry and does not miss from there. 3-2 to Deacons. And that goal knocked the wind out of the sails for Silver Sands. And Deacons were motivated to produce the goal of the game. Right foot volley from Shaquan Hayes. Put some respect on the name. Deacons 4, Silver Sands 2. Second encounter, UWI Blackbirds in black and yellow versus Wharton. 30 minutes gone. Time to break the deadlock. Javier Smith is left unattended at the back post. A poacher's goal, 1-0. 6 minutes later, UWI were celebrating again. Jerome Otterson with marvelous skill, going past these defenders like they were training cones, and puts it on a plate for Shalmari here with easy tapping. 2-0. Second half now, and this game was all lopsided. Rivaldo Messiah to Herwood, who gets his second and UWI's third as it ended. Wharton 0, UWI Blackbirds 3. Anmar Goodrich-Boyce, CBC Sports.
Thanks, Anmar. And that's the final whistle in sports. Up next, Carrie Ann O'Neill with the weather.
Welcome to the weather news and happy International Women's Day to all you ladies. Now today in Barbados, the ridge pattern was our dominant feature. As a result, we had mostly sunny skies. The winds across the region, they are light to moderate, and convergence maintained showers across the Guianas. The maximum temperature today was 29 degrees Celsius, the minimum 24 degrees. At present, the temperature stands at 26 degrees Celsius. The relative humidity, 72%, which means we do not have a lot of moisture in the atmosphere. Those winds are coming in from the east, northeast. We take a look now at our satellite feed, where the ridge pattern dominated today. As a result, we had mostly sunny skies. Now, that satellite feed is coming up shortly. I can tell you that the winds here in Barbados, they are peaking at 17 knots. They are quite light to moderate across most of the islands. Meanwhile, the seas, they're moderate in open water with swells peaking at 2 meters. Later on tonight, we can expect a mix of clear and cloudy skies, along with just a few brief light showers. Further south, convergence maintained some showers across the Guianas throughout today. Over now in the Western Caribbean, the ridge pattern also dominated. As a result, they had just a few light afternoon showers. That's our first look at the weather. After the break, we'll have the forecast. Welcome back. In the forecast for tomorrow, the sun is expected to rise at 9 minutes after 6 and will set just around 8 minutes past 6. Now, the first high tide, that's expected at 1:23 in the early morning, and the first low that's 13 minutes after 6 in the morning. The seas, moderate and open water with swells peaking at 2 meters. The winds coming in from the east and they're peaking at 30 kilometers per hour. For us here in Barbados tonight, we can expect a mix of clear and cloudy skies along with only a few brief light showers. And over the next 3 days, partly cloudy skies along with a few showers can be expected.
Well, that's our news for tonight. On behalf of the entire team, thank you so much for tuning in. Good night.